not. All right, here we go. What's up, bass players of the world? We're glad to have you back. God, I'm crying, Carson. What's going on? Let me get this out of the way. What's going on, man? How you doing? Welcome to the podcast, everybody.
How do we start?
Okay, I'll do it again.
No, that's fine.
All right,
it's a great start.
We'll keep it. We're men of integrity. We're going to keep that.
Amen.
I'm gonna be moving this the whole time like a stand it.
Your mic just did something crazy. Oh yeah, you got a little
probably because I didn't plug it in.
Connection there, huh?
No, I just didn't plug it in. You mean to go again, or do we just leave it at all?
This is great. I'm sure they'll love it.
We're men of integrity. That's what I said. All right, dude. How are you?
Oh man, right. I'm good. Okay. Let's recap real quick.
All right.
We have not had a solo podcast for 3 months, roughly.
Right.
We had some great guests. It's been awesome. We're going to continue to have great guests, but we really value talking to our fan base, the real ones, as we've called them, the legends.
Like yapping about ourselves.
Yeah. Well, we're going to find some ways to incorporate, listeners a lot better. Starting with the Discord. If you have a comment or anything, jump in the Discord.
Right.
Tell us. We love it. Anyway, Instagram's fine too, but you should really do the Discord. Yeah. So it's been 3 months. I think I have had a kiddo in that time. Actually, I'm sure that we have had a kiddo in that amount of time. It's been crazy.
Bam, bam.
He's healthy and well now. It was a crazy time, and I'm glad we had some podcasts on deck to get us through.
Yeah, boy.
Some people might have noticed that we talked about things like Christmas and New Year's in the podcast that came out January 25th or something like that.
Whoops.
But that's how it goes in showbiz.
That's right.
Your boys are organized.
Okay, so are you sleeping a lot or what?
No, I'm not sleeping a lot.
Builds character.
But it's great. I work for a theatrical lighting company now, in addition to this, to help make the bucks, and it's been a amazing job. Coming to a theme park or attraction near you, and if you get hit with an invoice, that's from me. Pay me. Yeah. So it's been good, and my workplace has been extremely accommodating, and Kate is about to go back to work soon, and that's going to be hell on earth, and childcare and all that stuff is crazy, and I don't want to spend much time of a bass podcast talking about that.
No, it's okay. So you're getting good practice time in, right?
Well, I did. Okay, so here's the thing. I did this little Instagram funny series that every time he would fall asleep around 8 or 9 p.m. and that's it's a success if I was able to get him to go to sleep because he had some feeding problems and whatever. So, photo on Instagram, he's laid back in a pillow, just totally conked out. And that's when I would start practicing. And then an hour and a half later, all of it is done and we're back to full-time dad feed mode at night. So he does not sleep as eloquently as he did at that time period. So I only got probably 2 or 3 weeks of good practice, but this is a good thing. So I hate to admit, well, maybe you guys have noticed by our channel, we like to talk about fun stuff and gear. Stuff like music theory and practicing, man, those are for chumps. We're not the guys to tell you how to do the little pinch harmonic through a whammy modal situation. We're just not. We're the guys that are going to tell you about this cool little knob you can twist,
on a pedal company that you haven't heard of.
Exactly. So, we know our lane. I'm not the one to sit down and give you a bass lesson. I can tell you about feel. I could tell you about emotion. Well, I can't tell you about that other stuff because I ain't no nerd. Just kidding. I could tell you a little bit, but not enough. So I have noticed a secret that I have kept hidden from many people for a long time is I am not very proficient in modes. I've known the like Nashville number system forever, and that kind of informs like where to go and whatever. But like I've never like sat down and learned the modes, especially like I would have my wife say a number and I'd play the mode of that number in the Nashville system. And I did that every night over and over and over again. And it was awesome. And I've actually like become a much better player since then.
Practice works?
Yeah, practicing like relevant things.
Sure.
It works. It's awesome.
Right.
If you do not know where to start, like maybe you've gotten a major scale down and you're learning songs and you just like not really revisited music theory, modes are like the practical things that will help you forever.
When it clicks, it really clicks.
Yeah, and I'm fortunate that it's clicked. Again, like I've known the, you know, major, minor, half diminished, like chord quality thing and how that relates to Nashville numbers. So I've always been able to get around. But this kind of takes it some steps further and has really opened up a lot of doors. And then I kind of flirted with it in another podcast. I've strung my 4 strings BEAD.
Ooh, baby.
And it's been the best thing I have ever done for my like playing and expressiveness, which is so not a lot of people's bag. And I like it even more since it's like not the typical thing. So that's been really fun and weird. And now I can take my 4-string P bass and play with my shoegaze metal band that plays once every 4 months or 3 months, and then take it to a pop gig and feel at home the whole time. It's been great to reconnect on 4 strings.
Dude, that's awesome. Look at you making lemons out of baby formula.
Amen. You know, just stirring it up, putting, you know, little bits of fried chicken in the formula, you know, just extra protein and
the base formula.
Yeah, try to get that grease in early to get that feel. And
what a weird simulator we're drawing.
Yeah, exactly.
Love
also,
it, dude.
for I'm mumbling about myself, but for those curious, Nick and I had an extended amount of time before this started to goof off as he's troubleshooting things. So my mic, every minute that it took Nick to get set up, I put another piece of analog gear on my voice, and maybe you can hear the background because I'm potentially overcompressing. Maybe not, but I've got an 1176, an LA2A, and an API EQ on, and a Neve preamp. So
I'm talking premium, baby.
It's stupid, is what I'm trying to say. It's a bit dumb.
No, we like a bit dumb around here. We do.
I enjoy the dumbness.
I'll tell you what, I'm liking my setup. I have a Universal Audio Volt. I don't know if you guys have seen those. They're like basically good quality interfaces for dumb people like me. And they don't have any control software. It's just a few buttons. And it's 4 in, 4 out. And I genuinely love it. It's been great. So that's gassing this guy up, and
heck yeah,
here we are, baby. You know,
okay,
my
so
nice
Nick,
gear.
Yeah. Last time we talked, you were headed to Nashville. Now you are solidly in Nashville.
Oh,
how you feeling?
Nashville.
Did you make the right choice?
Yeah, I think I'm here for a while, man. I love
Sweet.
it. People, I was talking with somebody yesterday. People like to act like, you know, a lot of music circles are competitive. People like to think that maybe people don't even act like that. Maybe it's something we impose ourselves because of, I don't know, the nature of man. Nashville's not competitive where I am. My buddies are doing nothing but looking out for me.
Sick.
Everybody's excited for my success. Like, just guys trying to hang out, people trying to learn, people trying to get experiences. The amount of favors that people do for me that I'm able to return, or vice versa. Like, I'm just learning, like, you know, I used to think it maybe I was going to have to beat out, you know, a lot of bass players. Like, you know, you got to get down there and prove yourself and like be like some monster player. And that is true to a degree. But the circles that I'm in, I mean, there's so many gigs to go around that I struggle. I can't take everything that I'm throwing already. and I have to pass it off to somebody else, and I struggle passing it. Like I'm like, who am I going to pass to now? You know, so it genuinely is like a really family. Yeah, it's a family oriented thing. Everybody's just trying to help out each other, which is really cool. I mean, you see people on the street when you're, you know, I'll be playing in the window or walking down, and you see somebody and you just wave, and you're just like happy that they're working. You know, especially in slow season. I don't know if you guys know about slow season, but Nashville pretty much becomes 40%. 30% of what it usually is in the summer. So, I mean, I've played some opening like shifts recently where, you know, I'll start at 10 a.m. We won't see a human until 11:45. And we're just in there. I played a couple weeks ago with this awesome girl, Jenna. She got a nice rock and roll voice, and she's like, yeah, I'm super into Fleetwood Mac. So we just start rolling down Fleetwood Mac catalog. So you hit the basics, but then you start going, what about this one? What about that one? And you just, you know, even if you don't know, you just pull up a chart and try to do it because there's not a human in there, you know?
That's awesome.
You know, all of a sudden I'm on drums, you know, it's just a good time, man. Everybody's just trying to have fun. So it's been really, really good, dude. A lot of gear change because of that. The breadth of, is that the word? Is
breadth?
No, the width of it, like I don't know. We're gonna say
Depth?
the width of genres and types of gigs that I'm doing is kind of insane at this point. Artist stuff, road stuff, in-town artist stuff, Broadway stuff, and I also do a bunch of guitar gigs for like CCM World, Christian World. So like the stuff that I need is so diversely different, and I never thought I would get to a point where I was like, so, you know, last month it's 5 degrees, and I'm walking downtown. You park your car a couple blocks away, and you from like a garage, and you walk downtown, and the wind is whipping through those buildings. So my goal when I was purchasing some gear was like, how do I have both my hands in my pockets? like what a weird filter to buy gear through. But I ended up with a strap for my pretty small board. Like my board's tiny. It's a pedal train Metro. Awesome. I mean, it's very, very small. I've never had a big bass board. I do a ton in the HX, and I've just never felt like a ton of need to go bigger on it. I wouldn't hate it. I'm not against it. I just don't. So I found a bag for it, and I just strapped that over my neck and have the double mono on my back. And I'm just walking downtown with both hands in my big pockets. Like it's a funny lens to buy gear through, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, playing basses that are versatile like that for Broadway specifically. But then I go, you know what? I'm playing a more rock and roll gig here coming up, but I have this P bass. P bass is a rock and roll. But when you have flats on them, they're a specific type of rock. It's like a 60s, 70s rock. It's not going to be your 90s Alice in Chains rock, right? Mm-hmm. It can be, you can fake it, but it's wrong. So I just thought, okay, I'll just start switching strings. I think Philip Conrad was talking about switching strings on his bass, like week to week, church and out of church. Uh-huh. And I'm doing that now. I'm like switching strings on the P bass, you know?
Nice.
I also did end up buying a Mega Flight case because Carson, I'm living on airplanes. I am literally, I've been on an airplane every week for the past month. I have barely been home in January, which is funny because everybody's usually in slow season.
Yeah, man, but all these to Nashville so that you can not be in Nashville ever.
Dude, turns out you're close to a good airport's all it is. Well, dude, I just I bought one of those SKBs where you just check it and hope to God that it stays in one piece. Heck and it does. It's awesome.
You know, I've been on that train forever. That
oh yeah.
I have the one without the cutouts and stuff, so it's like open. So it's universal for almost any bass. And yours is
mine is like a PJ. Jazz? Yeah, it's like a JP specific.
So it fits both?
Yeah, technically. Nice. That's how they market it. It fits my P bass well.
They are the best, and they've got those wheels behind them.
The wheels.
It's still not, even if you were able to check it, gate check it, which I've never successfully got one of those on the plane. They'll never get on a plane. Gate checking, it's a waste of time. Like, this is a thing that you throw under the plane, and you just say, you know, hopefully I'm in the good graces with the Lord above today.
Right.
And it checks every box. Like, I've seen some of the airline people like when they're like, man, my bass got crushed, and they're like, oh, well, just because your mono has a photo of an airplane on it doesn't mean we observe that as a flight case. You need a flight case.
Right.
You need and they'll scrutinize what kind of case you are. This is like the flight case. Has flight all over it. It's hard. It's got weird
TSA.
It's like, if you guys have messed this up, you better pay me. Now,
right.
Who knows if they actually will.
Right. I hope I don't cross that bridge, but for the time being, this bass case fits a couple pedals in the case.
Yeah.
Which is everything I need. So I just show up and check it, and kind of helps because a couple other people in my camp have those as well. So they stack in cars
Sweet.
and trailers pretty well, right?
Nice.
So that's cool. But if I'm doing road bus stuff, mono every day. If I'm doing Broadway, mono every day.
Yeah.
Flying, I am putting that thing in wheels, baby.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So that's been a game changer for me, truthfully, which is funny because, I got strapped up on one side and then wheels on the other. But, different calls call for different things. Different different gigs are different.
Background. I am a monobag trader now, sort of wannabe trader. I have purchased the Reunion Blues Expedition.
Oh, that kind of
series.
trade. I thought you meant like you were like wheeling and dealing.
No. Because they make a RB Expedition double bass guitar case.
Okay.
And it's like, I've never actually seen their cases in person. Well, actually, that's not true. I went over to my friend Tyler Young's house and he had one, and I was really impressed. But they're like semi-hard.
Yeah.
They're a lot harder than the monos.
They're more structured.
This series from Reunion Blues, at least. And I have, the Thunderbird, and the Thunderbird cannot fit into a mono, even if you take out the padding in the bottom that's like Velcro. So the Reunion Blues, you can take out the bottom padding, and a Thunderbird would fit. So now I'm able to have a double bass case with a Thunderbird and a more traditional, sized bass.
There you go.
Which is dope. But guess what? I ordered it in September, pre-ordered it, come to find out, and it is January 29th without an update.
Oof.
So
I bought a pair of sweatpants off of Instagram. I promise this is going to connect. I bought a pair of sweatpants off of Instagram, and they posted this thing immediately, like, hey, due to the quantity of orders, it's going to take a second. And I'm like, who starts a business without a way to ship the stuff? It's like, you sell a product you don't have doesn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. And I know this is common in the worlds that we live in, of these like pre-order, like, let's see how many people we're going to want. But like, at least when you order a Noble, they're like, it's going to take a year. When you order a King of Tone, they're like, it's going to take years. Like, these sweatpants, it's just like, we'll tell you when we're going to ship them. It could be any time. Like, this
probably
happens in the modern age.
No, they don't have good info on their factory that
and that doesn't
overseas.
that doesn't compute to me. Of like, we like the product, we know this is a good product. This is not the first time they've ever sold the product. Why are these small companies doing that? I'm not a hater usually, and the products are usually good if it's worth the wait. Like, there's a reason that they're hyped like that. But what are you doing selling it without the means to distribute, right?
Yeah. I, in my day job, have been exposed to a bit of how things are working in China. And I would imagine they have less control over when things show up, when things are made, than any of us would really think, and that a lot of these companies could kind of go down at any minute. This is not specifically Reunion Blues. I don't know.
Right, this isn't about Reunion Blues. This is about sweatpants.
I got to cover my bases real quick. I really am not talking about them. I have no idea how their stuff works, or anybody, but the vast majority of places, like, they're making bass pedals today, and tomorrow they're making cheese graters. Like, and they get to it when they get to it. And it's a very new thing to have something like an Amazon that will buy the products, store the products, and then ship it to you.
Right.
That's why Amazon is amazing.
It's like the monolith of middlemen.
Right. we get angry when some 15-year-old in their mom's basement learned how to drop ship and made $1 million. But you're like, half of every brand name ever in America, the most legit ones, it's drop shipping, but it hits their factory for 2 days.
Maybe it doesn't even do that.
Well, the moment they hit their warehouse, they're not implicated in U.S. taxes. Once it goes to the consumer, it is a sales tax triggering event.
This
the more
is an
you know,
inner circle
guys.
Kind of guy. That's crazy, dude.
Man, I've been so nerded. I want to make a pedal very badly. I have a couple like ideas to have pedals made. I can't take another hobby, so I'd have to have somebody make it for me in batches and do it as merch items. See, I should probably not say this out loud.
This is bad.
But like, that's where my head has been at lately. I have a couple ideas that I think are unique enough that all 50 of you guys would want one of these. And so if I could keep it cheap enough and select, just very in-house, I think that'd be a fun thing to do.
Love it. That's so funny,
there you go.
dude.
And we need to work on other merch, but that's a whole tangent.
Whole different tangent, baby.
Whole other tangent. Anyway, all that to say, global supply chain. We're talking about tariffs lately. We're talking about like it's all related.
Here's what I'll
it's
say.
Not something I want to talk more about, really.
Yeah, as I say, let's get real political. I got another piece of digital gear.
Oh yeah,
I did. So I bought this guy because I've been playing a lot of guitar gigs and I've been flying them. And what I needed was a...
Wait, so for the audio listeners, what is it?
Oh, right. This is a ToneX 1. It is smaller than the palm of my hand. It is a USB-C bus-powered interface, if you want it to be. It is mono in, but stereo out, which confuses me as to what that would be useful for. But I don't use it as that. I currently... flew with it. I took this and I took an HX Stomp and I ran this ToneX 1 in the effects loop of the HX Stomp to have a pointed amp solution, which I like the HX stuff, but to get that DSP off, free up some space on that Helix.
Like why you would do that?
Yeah, I ran out of space, so I have the Pedalnetics, the little TRS extension. They make this little guy that you just like sticky tape on top of the HX Stomp.
Okay.
And it takes it's like your 2 extra expressions, so then you get 5 instead of the 3 buttons, you get 5. And that is awesome. However, all that stuff was taken up. I had no more room to do anything. I couldn't. I was really struggling because I always run basically like an always on, mostly amp reverb. I don't really touch a ton of compression, definitely not for effect compression.
Right.
But I did run a mild amount of compression. And then the amp. So what this thing can do is all of that. So I was running an amp off of that, and it has like a verb that you can just edit right here. You don't have to hook it up to a computer. So I was running amp, verb, and it's got a
guitar.
I was playing guitar for this. Okay. But I'm going to get to its implications here in a second because I got big ideas, okay?
Big ideas, guys.
Big ideas. I'm a big idea guy.
This is a podcast of big ideas now.
Right. I should have actually started this with, I thought about this for months because I was doing these guitar gigs like, man, I can get by with this HX Stomp only. I can. And it fits in my backpack, and then I carry the guitar, so when I show up at a gig, they might lose my clothes, but they're not going to lose an ounce of my gear. So I'm very cool with that. Especially, I did one overseas, and you just really can't. You can't mess with that when you're traveling that far. You don't even know what you can get access to. I was in rural Netherlands. It's like you got to make sure that you got that thing on you. So I've been doing that. Well, thought extensively and ended up on this because of the smallness of it. First of all, and also people talk really highly of it. And it's one of the few that I feel like people do put up in the upper echelon of amp sim. So that's doing guitar stuff. The other thing that it does really cool that it actually helped me out is it actually gave me another gain setting because this works as an A-B switch. So my A setting is just like a deluxe reverb, but what I would call a pedal platform. My Christian boys, we're going to know about the pedal platforms.
The good Christian boys know.
The good Christian boys. My B side was a dimed Marshall. So there's like your soaring lead tone. So now I get it.
Christian boys.
Oh yeah. So I get a gain setting. I get all that. Technically, there's a tuner built into this, which is crazy to me. They use these like top little things. Yeah. They're light up and they change colors
left,
and stuff.
Right, and center.
Pretty much.
Yeah, LEDs.
And there's also you can basically turn it into stomp mode. So that's where some kind of bass situation goes. You can make it a ton of stuff. So the goal is use it for guitar as amp sim and then use it for weird stomp mode. It's so small, it's just going to live on my baseboard, which is great. So overall, happy with it and impressed so far.
Does it have to be an amp sim? Like, is
no.
it just...
You can run it in a stomp box mode.
Yeah, like it's an instance of a digital pedal that you can basically load up whatever the community or ToneX has made.
Pretty much.
So it could be a chorus. It could be a whatever.
Pretty much. And here's the thing. Here's what I'll say. The price point is insane. I got it for $175, and they run them on sale. I've seen them as low as $150. Mm-hmm. And they come with the ToneX software. The biggest downside to this thing is that software. There is no way to real-time edit that I found. And look, I really hope somebody corrects me, but I Googled it quite a bit. You basically have to push your settings to the ToneX and then listen. And then push it and then listen. And for the most part, you can edit quite a bit of those parameters on the physical hardware, but there's some parameters that you can't. So
yeah,
a bit annoying there, but if that's the only downside, that's fine. You can tell the app is set up to be a moneymaker. It is we want to sell downloadable content. We want to sell presets. We want to sell other people's sourced stuff. We want to sell our created stuff.
Right.
I get that. I appreciate that. Make your money. I'm not buying it. I'm going to get my own IRs and load them. And you can do that. I have some IRs already that I've loaded and I like them.
It's way cooler too.
What?
Like to load your own IR.
Yeah, yeah, it can be. I mean,
if I was, if or when I eventually try out the digital thing, like that's why, what's the other one called? The silver one.
The Neural DSP? The quad?
Yeah. That's why I'm like, man, I like the idea of capturing things I already like.
This can capture too, I believe.
I am captivated by the capture.
Cap to capture.
Right. No cap.
Here's what I'll say about this all. If I could go back and not buy into the Helix thing, I still would heavily consider getting into Helix. I love the ecosystem that it's living in, and the HX Stomp is maybe the single most powerful piece of gear right now, to me.
Okay.
I would probably have gone DSP. I probably would have gone with the quad. I think that stuff is insane, and I love the size of it because it does fit just in a backpack loose, and then you have everything you need. I mean, it is a beast of a piece of gear.
There was like some drama early on with those because I think they said that you would be able to run the Neural DSP plugins on it, and then that was not the case. But then I could be butchering this, but maybe like the newer model you can.
Right?
Are we at the point where you can do the Corey Wong plugin suite situation on it? Do you know?
I would hope so. It feels like a swing and a miss. If not, but I'm pretty sure you can. But again, I'm probably wrong.
That would be awesome. I know you loved that for a long time.
Oh, I still do. I use the Wong stuff all the time for demos.
The Polyphia guy has one.
The Petrucci one is insane too.
And then bass guy that I haven't spent a crazy amount of time going down the rabbit hole other than his recording stuff. Adam Neely? No, that's a different bass guy. There's a British dude who plays like ding walls and heavy music.
Okay.
And maybe he has something. I don't know. I could be conflating it, but I would hope. Yeah, it's. I find those very interesting. I mean, I find the Helix really interesting too.
Right. Well, honestly, my full thing. If I could do it again, I probably would have considered the quad more, but the HX stuff is insane. The ToneX stuff is insane. I see a lot of fractals still out there. I see a ton of them. I just know that I think my point is everything can be incredible if you put in the time. But I think the consensus across the board, all the stock stuff is pretty brutal. I don't love the Kemper, and Kemper, I've never really been sold on tones. I've heard people pulling them off very, very well. The stage profiler is huge, and the software, every time I see it, I'm like, man, that is some brutal looking software. And the Fractal is that, but a lot of people that do the Fractal thing want that. Like the Fractal can do like up to 4 out, I think, at one time. So all of it's really cool and really intriguing to me. If I could do it again, I probably would have considered quad more, but I'm very, very happy to be with HX. And combining the two, I'm like, man, this is unstoppable. I looked into getting the HX effects instead of this ToneX and using the HX Stomp as basically amp sim and stereo stuff, and then HX effects for like kind of drives and stuff. But it's huge, and it's only got, I think, one more button than the HX Stomp with the extension. So then I kind of was like, well, if you're gonna then pay the money, you should get a second Stomp.
Have you considered? You have the big one, right?
I have the full Helix too, and I've got my money out of it. Honestly, I use that for any like CCM. What's that?
Could you use that for bass, or it's just too big?
Man, full Helix on bass, I am never happy
Helix.
with. He's gone full Helix. Full Helix, I'm never really happy with. Sorry, I'm plugging this thing in real quick. On bass, that is. And I've had friends that'll do it, and I'm like, wow, that's really, really cool. But I always feel like the low-end response is somewhat weird to me. It's never a digitally high-end thing. I'm pretty liberal on my global EQ, like high, what do you call it, high shelf?
Sure.
High cut, whatever it is.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty liberal on that, and like I bring it like shockingly low. But I'm still just like, I don't know. I'm never sold when I hear it. However, there is one bass tone that I do love on the Helix that's kind of baked in. Billy Sheehan has a like clone, like it's called the Busy One, which I can't remember the name of his amps that he loved, but this is like his preset, and it is like basically, it's like basically you get control of both the channels because he was jumping the channels, and you can control like what he does. He sends 2 cables, and he basically runs full 2 rigs. I mean, so you've got like a guitar rig, and then you've got your like more of a traditional bass rig. This can kind of do that, where there's one of those channels is like super beefy, and you can adjust the mixes like within the preset, which is really, really cool. So that's cool. But other than that, that's kind of a specific instance. And I play one Mr. Big song on Broadway. That's the only time I've ever used it. I play that song maybe 3 times.
What is a? I don't know if I want to review. I don't know if I know a Mr. Big song.
Yeah. To Be With You, that was the big smash, but it doesn't sound anything like Mr. Big.
Oh.
It just it's like that's not indicative of the crazy shred hair metal that they are. To Be With You
would run a double heart key situation. Is that
there was a specific head that he was running there for a while. Maybe Google it again, or I'll Google it.
I'll re-Google it.
Let me knock a bunch of stuff off this counter real quick.
Let's ask. We'll ask ChatGPT. Then we'll ask the new one, deep open whale. Then we'll ask Google Gemini.
Okay.
And we'll cross-reference those.
Does Bing have one yet?
Sure. Why not?
Everybody's
Doesn't Microsoft
got AI.
want to buy TikTok right now?
Everybody's got AI.
Yeah, dude.
But anyways, Billy Sheehan stuff is very cool. I'm largely happy with the digital stuff, but I always end with my capo. I mean, I'm looking at the board right here. I'll pull it up right now so you guys see where it's at.
With the capo.
I love this thing. Oh, shoot.
It's getting crazy up in here.
No, this is it.
Oh, it's beautiful setup.
This is the whole thing.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. And honestly, so this is the little Pedalnetics thing that I've got. Oh, this is a special treat. I honestly need to do a video about this because I believe in this setup, baby. Every gig I've ever done has been through this. I mean, this thing rules. This is the little Pedalnetics thing. You see how it kind of like tapes on there?
Yeah.
And then it's got a built-in TRS. So then you just run it to the back here. It takes up no space at all. So that's awesome. I've got my JHS kilt inside the effects loop of my Helix. and I can mix in like original signal and get tons of bass low end response. But I always finish it off with the capo to make it sound like a human playing bass and not AI. So
where are you keeping that the saturation stuff? Are you keeping it towards the F or towards the N?
man, I usually go halfway between N and F.
So the straight up the middle?
No. Halfway between the middle and the right.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see that, or is it backwards?
I can see it. Yeah, that's where I keep mine too. We're brothers now.
That's where I've landed. Sorry about that, everybody.
Saturation.
That'll be great
for
the
saturation. You know what?
That'll be a great little section for those audio listeners. So sorry about that. I was just showing my board. It's
it looked really cool.
It's tiny. But I do use that HX for a ton of stuff. I use it for a full pitch shift, and I use it for like a Boctiver, like the little bass octaver is what they call it, the Boctiver.
A little Boctiver action.
Boctiver, you know me, Boctiver.
You like to get low.
Yeah, and honestly, I love it. And then I've also got like a funny little. So I have a chorus on there, but then I'll combine that chorus with like a synth bass sound that I love, and it's so rare that I get it out. But I do a lot of bands down here cover. Everybody Wants to Rule the World, so it's kind of fun to do that.
Great song.
Oh, it's fantastic. So I got all the bases covered quite literally with that. So maybe I'll wedge this guy on there. The only thing I've thought about doing recently is putting like a MIDI switcher on as well, because I'm untapped in my MIDI ports on my HX, and I could use that to bank up and down and then keep my expression, or capabilities past that. I don't play.
Did you have a expression pedal on that board you just held up?
No.
Okay.
No, I use the volume knob, which has actually been a problem because the set screw keeps coming loose, and I keep just rolling the volume off, and then all of a sudden, when the screw comes loose enough, and you're just spinning the knob, and you're like, "Daggone it!" Yeah. So then you have to yank it off and look like an idiot, just like tweaking the little pole.
Grab that nub.
Right. Well, and it smells like copper, and I hate it. It makes you
too.
Golly, it just drives me nuts. So I've just been fiddling with that a bunch. I've never been a bass volume pedal guy. I know there's plenty of people doing it. I never do it.
I've never tried it. So I
have one you can borrow if you want the big one. I got a Volume Pedal Junior sitting in plastic. It's huge.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that the one that uses a little string?
Yeah, that breaks constantly.
I have a Morley one, like a half size. And
that's great.
I tried it like years and years ago. I just never sold it. And it uses a laser, I guess. Oh. And so as it goes down, it lets more light through the laser. And then some people online were talking about how to make it feel a little smoother. And you open it up and you like cut a hole to make how it's tapering different. Okay. And I did that, and I really liked it. And it's so hard to justify that room on a pedal board,
right,
for volume,
right,
especially if I've got no like reverb stuff going on, because like that's kind of it's the best when there's a reverb right after it, and you're like pushing into it and pulling out, and
like,
I
have thought about a boost recently. I've thought about throwing a boost on, because think about all the gigs in your life where you're like, well, there's a sound guy, somebody'd hear me for this little section. For like, dude, the other day I played, I know I'm just talking about playing covers these days, but that's what I'm playing, and I'm getting a lot of work doing it, so whatever. I was playing Running with the Devil by Van Halen, and it's like such an iconic one-note bass line. It's awesome. And I was like, man, I just wish it was a little bit more, a little bit louder. And I've got a little spark boost, like the little TC Electronics, sitting on my guitar board. I might just yank it off and shove it on this one.
Dude, when I was using this mostly for volume, and I didn't expect to fall in love with the tone. The JHS, it's got the little like top hat and the rabbit in it. One knob
always
thing.
got something.
Shoot, it's gold. Let me grab.
You use it as that kind of boost.
Yeah, that's what it's made for. And I saw it on somebody else's board using it for bass.
Yeah, it's just a clean boost.
It is not completely clean.
I don't think it ever could be. I don't think that's really something you can do. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. Just feels like the nature of boost would be to add a little bit of grit.
Right now on my board, I have a totally clean boost that the guy from Creation Audio, Alex, made for me. And it's got this crazy nebula finish on it. It is the cleanest clean boost I've ever heard. Like it's complete. It is you but louder. It's basically a utility pedal, and
How in the world do they do that?
It's pretty cool that you can just do that. This is the opposite of that. If you can see it, I'm holding up.
Oh, I have seen that thing.
Yeah, it's got a little rabbit in a hat. I cannot remember the name of it. It sounds fantastic. It sounds so good that I want to just leave it on all the time.
Right.
But then I've boosted my bass up for some reason.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of a gain structure problem. But like tonally, it sounds that good. It sounds, I don't know what it does.
Okay.
Maybe just a little saturated feeling. Like it will never really full on, like, I don't know, overdrive. But it's more about overdriving the thing it's in front of.
Right. So where's that in your chain? Last or before your preamp? I
wasn't using it in a good way. I was just using it somewhere towards the middle because I had a spot, and it's just like when I needed my bass to be a little bit louder.
So on my guitar board, it's the last thing before it hits the amp.
Well,
that way you're taking it all. You're taking it all. But if I'm driving the preamp.
So now my intention with how my pedal board is set up, I don't know if people who know us know I have a crazy pedal board, starts with a clean out, ends with the Jadfreer capo that we are both now Jadfreer artists. Hey-o. But I've got some drives intermittently on there, or like I have a drive and a fuzz, and I have the boost before those. So if I'm using the drive, I'm using it kind of like you were saying, you're driving into an amp and you want to hit the amp harder. My equivalent of that is a fuzz pedal or a distortion. So I'll boost it and then I'll choose what I want to do with that.
I could also probably just add a boost inside my Helix now that I'm thinking about it more.
There you go.
I wonder how that digital boost goes.
Okay,
gonna have to try
new pedal. I am a bit perplexed how this showed up at my house so soon. Maybe not when this podcast actually comes out, but like the NAMM show was like Monday, I don't know, maybe last week.
Right.
Over the weekend, like just a couple days ago. And MonoNeon came out with a Digitech Whammy that is very MonoNeon. You know, it's yellow and orange, and it came with like markers and stickers, and it's a signature Whammy, which I've always been lusting over the Digitech Whammies, but like I've always been nervous that it's going to be like,
that's so funny,
too stupid for me to use.
I mean, I think that's the point. I have one, dude.
It's fun. I always remember being like, I'll never have a Digitech pedal because it's got the blah, 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 blah. What an idiot I was. And still am. But I saw this and I was like, this is everything I have wanted in this kind of Whammy. Plus, he's a super cool artist. I love his vibe. The big thing being like when I see this kind of pedal, a Digitech Whammy, if you haven't heard, it's got all these octave ups, octave downs, harmony, weird stuff, like very digital.
And you can like scroll through it, and it sounds funny when you scroll through it.
It's got a scroll knob on it, and it's got a big like expression pedal built into the pedal, so your foot goes on it, and it can go up and down and do fun stuff. I think the first time I realized that I wanted one was that one Kings of Leon song. Closer? Yeah. Womp, 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 womp. Like, the whole song, the backing is a Thunderbird.
I'm pretty sure it's Closer.
Yeah, you're right. And it just like he octaves up during it. He changed the chords, octave up. Like, it's a whole thing. It doesn't sound like a bass. It sounds like a synth, weird effect. And then I was like, I have to have one. And then, I've seen them more and more through you've used one. You have one.
I have. Yeah, I've got like a 2000s one. I mean,
OG.
I played. It's not the OG, but it's the one that a lot of people, when you picture the Digitech, that's the one it is.
They're got the red one. And then along the way, within the last 5 years, maybe more like 7 or 8, they came out with a bass version of it that's a little bit more tailored to the low end. And as I was looking at that, I thought the bass version was a little weird, and like had a lot of. There's a lot in these pedals that is just arguably unusable to me. The bass one had some weirder stuff where like the detune setting didn't sound very good, but the guitar version that everyone, even the bass players I've seen that have been using it, like had a couple settings that I thought like I would actually maybe use this. Mm-hmm. So the coolest part of this is that it is not just a new paint job on the Digitech Whammy. It has got like a few dedicated, interesting settings. Right. MonoNeon plays bass and guitar. He's mostly a bass player, but really this is the guitar Digitech Whammy made for low end.
Right.
One of the things they did was the detune setting, instead of two different like really weird sounding detune options, it's now a chorus. Yeah. And
which they are effectively choruses.
A chorus, yeah.
Like the detune on mine is a great sounding chorus, and there's like it says either deep or shallow, so which is just your rate.
This chorus, I have not directly compared it to your stuff. Like what, like this is just
you can
what
borrow
it.
Honestly, you can take it. It's in a drawer.
The detune in this is maybe my favorite chorus ever. Like I love it.
Did you see the chorus I sent you on Instagram today?
No.
Dog.
Is it awesome?
It's that guy that's painting all those pedals with like...
Yeah, dude, Celebrity Pedals. I talked to him.
No. It's a different one. Oh. But it's a Serenity Now. Like it's like George Costanza's dad screaming, and all the parameters are like. It's so funny, dude. I'll show you later. That's awesome. I'm very, very interested in it.
Anyway, this chorus, I'm like, well, shoot. If it picks out, or if it kicks off the chorus pedal I currently have on my board, and the Flint, the Strymon Flint, then maybe, oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Look at that, dude. That's insane.
I love that so much.
That's insane.
Once again, guys, you got to go to our YouTube channel to figure out, all the cool visuals we've got going on.
It's called Noise Kick Effects. Shout out Noise Kick Effects. You're doing hilarious things.
Anyway, so this is like the coolest chorus I have. And because of that, now I can justify the space a little bit more. The Strymon Flint is awesome.
Yeah.
But I was using it for kind of like a Twin Peaksy, like a little tiny, tiny bit of reverb and a little bit of tremolo. And when you get into that kind of stuff, by the time you put it on a bass, like people could maybe tell barely the difference between a chorus and a tremolo with reverb. Like it is so small of a difference that I have one song that kind of does the tremolo reverb thing. I think I can just do it on this chorus and nobody in the band even notice. So I'm going to try to work it in. I'm working on kind of my next iteration of the Pedalboard build.
Yeah. So are you done with the Horothia?
For now? I didn't want to say it by name, Nick. Yeah, I think so.
Hey, dude, it's not a pedal you're getting rid of. It's just sometimes you're going for different flavors. I feel like people really... I don't think people understand that there's a lot of flavors of chorus.
Right.
Like a lot. And that's just like... I mean, dude, you ever throw on like in this Helix, I'll throw in like a stereo chorus, and you're like, well, that's even crazier. Like, that's a different thing than just a regular, like, Police Andy Summer sounding chorus.
So, with that being said, I wanted to use the Horothia as a studio tool because it is a stereo chorus.
You're not ditching it. It's just
we
not
never
on the
talked
board.
about it as a stereo chorus. I have not been using it to its abilities, and so I'm going to have a little pedal board for my studio. That's more like I'd love to run a vocal through that kind of chorus. It's that kind of sound, and it was great on bass too. But I'm kind of in this era. Shoegaze is such a big dumb buzzword.
Shut up. No one cares. It's all music.
But people love to click on things that say shoegaze on YouTube. So expect us to clickbait that in the future. What I really want to happen is to have a couple cool pedals that I can self-oscillate at the beginning of the chain and self-oscillate after the whammy and do crazy things with pitch and feedback so that I can be like, hit a note and then all of a sudden just like ram.
You're going to need an analog delay.
Yeah, I know.
That's like step one, dude. Step one is getting that doing.
Right. I want to do that kind of thing on bass regularly.
Get an analog delay. Everybody always had that way huge.
Yeah.
That thing rules.
Well, there's these sustainer pedals that I'm kind of interested in too. But
sustainer. I don't think I know.
There's like a Game Changer Audio sustainer. It's got like a piano sustainer on it.
Yeah.
That seems interesting where I could hold notes.
Like it's got like the physical thing.
Yeah. It is. It is a pedal that is made to sound like a piano's like sustain pedal.
Love it.
And you can grab notes with it. It's also a little big because I'm obsessed with big pedals for some reason. So I'm interested in that one. And then there's a couple other sustain type pedals floating out there that does interest me a lot.
You've got the wandering eye.
Yeah, I want it. I want my bass like at the front to sound like an EBO, like infinite sustain.
Yeah.
And then on the back end, something like that analog delay, crazy sounds. And I want something that also kind of sounds like feedback.
Right.
And I can manipulate.
Right.
That's
tough to get there on bass.
I know. And to do it in a way that's just not like low end noise.
Right. Yeah, because usually it turns into like a it's you can get it, but you're gonna have to crank it, and you're gonna have to stand right in front of that amp.
Yeah, that's why when I saw this funk guy making crazy sounds on a Digitech Whammy, it's got the dive bomb setting, and which is just low. It just goes so low, it almost sounds like a tape head stopping. It just like just crazy low. So if you can do that down, you can surely do that up, So playing with it like that in a moment of insanity in one of my band's sets. And then there's a hypersonic mode that is 3 octaves up, which sounds
that's crazy,
insane. But if I was able to do this weird, like pitch harmonic, horrible sounding minor chord into something that just like sustains it, it would be the stupidest, coolest, most distorted sound in the world to do on one of our sets. So I'm giving away all my tricks, but like when I saw the MonoNeon Digitech Whammy with these settings, I was like, what kind of distorted insanity can I use this pedal for?
You crack me up with the stuff that grabs you. I'm always like, oh, interesting thing for Carson to be extremely fascinated with right now.
That's where I'm at right now. I want my pedal board to turn into a modular synth sustain thing.
Oh man, we are in different worlds, buddy. I wish I was there.
Yep.
Hey, I mean, dude, they're not paying me a dime. The coolest, if you guys ever find yourself in Nashville, East Side Music Supply, their pedal selection is so stinking cool. I could spend a whole day there, man. They've just got these nice wood shelves full of like Death by Audio and like, dude, all these like extensive catalogs of every brand. You might need to come spend some time there, dude.
I need to.
They're gonna take your money, and they got really cool used stuff too. They'll always have like Sun amps and like a bunch of jazz choruses, and it's really cool stuff, man.
I'm definitely gonna be there in September. I am sure I will be there.
I
2
hope
or 3 times.
You gotta come see me, boy.
It'll be awesome.
Dude,
I'm gonna see 9 Inch Nails at the big stadium, whatever it's called.
Nissan?
No. Is there another one?
Geodis?
No. Maybe it is.
Ascend?
I gotta Google it. 9 Inch Nails, Nashville. Gosh, I love 9 Inch Nails.
Are they just at Bridgestone?
Yes.
Oh.
Is that less big?
Going to what?
Is that less big? I don't know. That sounds pretty big. Bridgestone Arena.
Yeah, it's just an arena.
I've never been there.
It's great. I'm going tonight. Going to a hockey game.
Cool. Tell Trent I said hey in advance. Hide a little paper airplane somewhere for Trent.
Last time I was at a Preds game, what's her name? Oh, God. Kelsey Ballerini, I think is her name. I think
She
that was
Predator?
her. Nope.
Oh, sorry.
She's a singer, but she was with. Did you ever watch Outer Banks?
No.
I didn't either. But some guy named John B. He was just there at the Preds game, and tell you what,
Can't imagine.
it was a big deal to a lot of the people in the building.
In all of these podcasts, we just like somebody out there is just losing their mind every time we make a pop culture reference and don't care about who it is.
I mean, whatever, dude.
That's our brand, man.
Yeah. Just not caring, hanging out, dudes being dudes.
Just a couple dudes being guys.
You got anything cool coming up?
Nope.
That's kind of nice. I could use a little bit of time off, man.
I've been playing with this band Sympathy Jar, the shoegaze band, a lot. We have a record that we worked really hard on. That I think is really good. Then, I mean, I'm trying to take it easy right now. I have got the baby stuff. Got to be open for Abby's schedule stuff. We really don't know what a lot of that looks like. They're on tour right now, and it was just a little too soon. And they're doing they got like a Rhodes trio set up that sounds super cool. Nice. So they've been on with the Yardbirds. So I'm trying to kind of take it easy. Oh yeah, we for Lexington adjacent people, we're doing this thing called Trash Bill at our local dive bar, the Green Lantern, that we love. And we're doing another residency where it's like we'll play and then we curate the artists, and it's usually people a lot more interesting or a lot bigger than you'd expect to be in this little dive bar. Yeah, it's kind of a you know situation, and it's on a Sunday afternoon, so it's awesome.
Afternoon,
yeah,
love it.
Well, late afternoon, but it doesn't go late.
Sunday. Might as well.
So we're doing that every Sunday in February. That's Abby's baby, and I get to play. And then randomly, MJ Linderman is playing the Green Lantern like a week after that, 2 nights. He is way too big of an artist to be playing the Green Lantern. He is.
That's sick.
I mean, him and Waxahachie, shout out Ellie. They're having a moment. They are blowing up.
Yeah, dude.
So MJ Linderman at the Green Lantern will be so packed you can hardly get in. It's sold out, 6 months ago practically, for a show that's in March. So that'll be fun. But
that's
sorry,
sick.
I'm trying to go to concerts right now. I'm trying to keep it pretty low key and like reprioritize because I'm on baby duty and got to focus on what's important. And to me, all of the baby stuff is extremely important in my marriage and all that kind of stuff. But like creatively, besides that, just making records and focusing on the bass stuff and getting to make music with my friend Abby and some other friends. I'm keeping that top of the list and saying no to a whole lot of other stuff, which is
good for you.
Awesome. So it's less money. That sucks.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to pick health over the money for sure.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah. So how about you? What's next?
I got some road dates coming up. Going back down to Texas a couple times, which is great. I love Fort Worth. Doing honestly, I'm gonna get to be home for a little bit. I'm home for like this whole weekend, and it hasn't happened this year. So, man, I've been raking in Sky Miles.
Every time we're talking to stuff, like you are doing great. I'm really proud of you.
I cannot understate this. I am fighting calls off at this point, which I am so grateful for because everybody just needs a bass player. People told me, they're like, "Hey, you're not going to struggle to get work. There's a lot of need for bass players." They're not kidding. There's not enough bass players.
That's great. So
it's
move
awesome,
to Nashville, steal Nick's gigs.
Take my gigs. You can have them. I will honor it and respect it.
Cool. Well, I guess we'll land the plane there. We got some cool guests coming up.
Yeah.
We got some cool solo pod stuff coming up. We got a whole lot of stuff in the works. We got a pedal review coming up for the real ones who made it all the way here. I'll tell you. Death by Audio Bass War. I've been testing that out, and it is super fun. I will have many more thoughts about it. It's not for everyone, but it is. I'm very happy with it. So I'm working on how the board looks like, what it looks like in the future. And yeah, I'm trying to think anything else we can give the real ones while we're here. Nope, probably not.
Man, we'll just give them the old, thanks for watching. We appreciate you. I'm happy that we made it this far. I'm just glad I get to yap online. This is pretty stinking cool. So thanks for tuning in.
And again, leave us comments. Like, get in the Discord, the Instagram. If there's something you want to see, like we've been toying around with, like, what if we have a segment thing with guests or what? Do you wish the podcast had more structure and more segments? Let us know. We want to know who you are, especially like we're not that big. Like, say, hey, we want to know who you are. This is not like a one-sided thing. Doesn't have to be. So just the fact that you're willing to listen makes you cool in our book, and we'd love to talk to cool people. So thanks.
Yeah, 100. Well, thanks for tuning in. We will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.